discuss with you the sponsoring process, because that is really the core of our business, how we bring new people to our business. What is really the goal of our business? The goal of our business is to create customers for Neolife, to create customers who buy products through us or who join our team to buy products for their own use. So let me just share that with you. So the sponsoring process. What does that mean? Sponsoring simply means that we need to be careful about this term sponsoring, because in our business, it means a specific thing. It means that you approach somebody, you ask them if they want to start a business, then you show them the business plan, then you guide them into the process of making a decision, then they start the business, then you hold their hand and you help them to also sponsor other people in the business. That is really what sponsoring is. Recruitment is just bringing people into the business, and that term is very different. Sponsoring in our business means specifically you get people, show them the business. When they start, you hold their hand until they've sponsored one or two people, then you know you sponsored the person. Having said that, it is important to remember that sponsoring is a process you go through to get new people in the business. Step number one, have a prospects list. People that you want to show the business, people that you want to share the business with. It could be people you know or people you have just met or acquaintances. A very important thing, write a list of people. That list is the most important list that you're going to have in your business. 200 looks an intimidating number. When a new person is starting the business, the first day that they're having their business kits opened or their business being launched, they need to have at least 20 names. Out of those 20 names, the person who introduced them to the business helps them to contact their prospects. Then from the list, the next thing is to invite them to see the presentation. It simply means learn how to pick up the phone, call the person and ask them if they would like to start a business, or if they're open to looking at a business concept that they can build on a part-time basis. That is the inviting process. And I think the inviting process is one of the keys to growing your business. If you don't know anything about a business, inviting is the most important skill you need to know, because it's the doorway for getting new people in the business. So learn how to invite people to look at the business or to attend the presentation. The third part is showing the business plan. It simply means that when you've told the person about the concept, explain to them how the concept works. Explain the logic of the business, the company, and the reason why they need to start the business. In fact, showing the plan has got 4 parts. The first part is your ID. You need to tell your own story of how you came to join the business. The next part is you need to give them reasons why they need to start the business. Inflation, income from one source is not enough. Jobs are scarce, and if you have a job, sometimes you can easily lose your job. You need to give them reasons why they need to start a business to earn them extra income. The third part is the logic of the business. Logic of the business simply explain to them how the business works. The 3 things we do every day to grow a business: use the products, share the products and the opportunity. And the third thing is personal development. Simply means learn how to become a better person in terms of product knowledge, in terms of how to build the business, and in terms of how to get others to grow in the business. And then the fourth element is how to follow up. A person does not make a decision very quickly or very easily. They take time. The average person says yes after 4 or 5 or 6 times after you've shown them the business. And then the last one is to sign the map. It means give them the application form, let them sign it, and then get them to pay for the starter kits, and then teach them how the business works. That is the sponsoring process. This W, I always talk about this W because it is a W that's stuck in my mind. The first nuts and bolts training that Betty and I attended. So when you explain the short of the business, how to get people in the business, I remember this W because it is always stuck in my mind. It's easy to follow. The top of the W is a prospects list. Using tools, the middle of the W is business opportunity presentation, and the bottom is how to follow up, and the top right is how to get people to make a decision. 3 decisions are possible, are the possible outcomes. 1, yes, they want to do the business. Or number 2, they don't want to do the business, but they want to use the products. Number 3, they're not interested in either the products or the business. One of the 3. And that involves work. W stands for work. This business is a network marketing business, not a sometime business, this is a network marketing business. It means you have to work to get people to be customers of Neolife as a company. The more you learn this process, the more easily it becomes, and the more successful you're going to become. The law of averages states that if you speak to any 20 people, you will find 4 to 5 who are interested in the business. You will find 2 to 3 who are likely to join the business. So use the law of numbers or law of averages to grow your business. I think one of the most difficult challenges we all face in the business is we're afraid of people saying no. If you have a different perspective of what no is, I think you will speak to more people. No could mean he doesn't understand the business, or you haven't sold the dream properly, or you haven't explained it so that their own dream in their heart is awakened. Or no could mean this is not the right person to lead you to a big group. It's probably the person who will discourage you the most. So when you hear no, don't take it personally. You know, it's easy to say don't take it personally. I mean, all of us sometimes when somebody says no, we feel a tinge of disappointment. But you need to discipline yourself, and that until you detach yourself from the emotion of what decision they're going to make. Okay, so that is about the sponsoring process. The next thing I wanted to talk to you about is DMO, daily method of operation. If you're new in the business, remember this: you are running a business. You can run a business as a hobby, and the income you're going to get is a hobby income range. You can start this business as a sometime business, and that's what you'll get, a sometime income. Or you can run this as a professional business, and you're really going to get professional. In fact, out of all the careers I know in the world, out of all of them, this business is the most rewarding. Given the amount of money you spend to start, and given the time frame that people use to get off the ground. When we started this business, we were told that it would take you 2 to 5 years in this business to become financially independent. In the normal business, it takes 5 years just to break even. 5 years. And considering, I mean, you need an average of about $50 to $60 to start this business. That is the amount of money you can earn within 1 or 2 months and get your initial investment back. The only real investment you make in this business is salt and water. As a friend of mine called it, sweat. You just need to sweat and talk to people. So what are the daily things you do every day? 1, you need to write your goals every day. Your major goals and the goals of the things you're going to do today. 2, set aside 2 hours to invite prospects for a presentation. If you're doing this part-time, think about your job if you're still employed, or think about the business that you're running at the moment, but take your diary and set aside specific time that you want to use to invite prospects to look at the business, either to watch a video or invite them for a Zoom presentation or invite them to do a one-on-one presentation, or invite them to attend a business opportunity presentations in a hotel, a restaurant, a place where many people congregate. Okay, so set aside time. Number 3, present the business opportunity. If there's one advice I can give those people who are starting the business now, it is this. He who holds the marker pen is the one who earns the most. What does that mean? The person who has learned how to present this business, your business will grow very quickly. It means that you can actually build this business without your sponsor. When Betty and I started, I was completely consumed about this business. And I learned how to do, at that time, the Eagle team had an outline on how to do the presentation, broken down into 4 parts. The intro or the ID, that is telling your story. 2, developing the need, why people need to start the business. 3, the logic of the business. And 4, call to action. What do people need to do? And I practiced doing that presentation. Within a month or 2, I was able to do a presentation. That's how our business took off. So I would recommend to everybody who is new, even if you're not new, learn how to do presentation before a group of people. If you learn just that one skill, you will see how quickly your business grows. The 4th thing you need to do every day is read a good book. Why is that important? Because remember, you can only give what you have. If you don't put positive things in your mind or in your brain, nothing flows out of your mouth. So read a good book every day. In fact, if you read for 15 minutes every day, in a year's time, you will have read between 10 to 15 good books. Think about that. How far you will be ahead of the average person if you read good books. Having said that, I would recommend that select a group of books that you read over and over and over again until you master and memorize the content of that book and put into practice. If you look at the Getting Started document, I'm not sure which page it is, maybe page 15 or 16, page 12. New Life has recommended a series of books that all of us need to buy and read. One is the 7 Steps of Becoming a Professional Network Marketer by Eric Warren. 2, How I Raised Myself from Failure to Success Through Selling by Frank Bettker. 3, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I don't remember the other 3 names, but make sure you invest in a book. These 3 books I've mentioned, buy them and read them over and over and over again with a marker pen, and align something that strikes you. And the reason for doing that is the more you do it, the more it stays in your mind. The 5th thing you need to do every day is follow up with your customers or your prospects. I think this is where, from when I started the business, this is where I've struggled with the most, how to follow up with people and prospects. And then number 6, add new names to your list every single day, because every single day you meet somebody new. Add their names to the list. Why is that important? Because when you will know those people if you make an effort to talk to people, whatever it is. Okay? So let's look at the next thing that I wanted to talk to you about. That is friendship. Why is friendship very important? Friendship is important because it's a glue that keeps our business together. I watched a photograph of a young boy. I think he must have been Chinese or Japanese, and he was about 6 or 7 years old, and he was carrying his brother on his back. So somebody else told him, "Hey, is it?" He said, "No, he's not heavy. He's my brother and he's my friend." That's a bond that we need to develop with people in our business. Why is having friendship in our business a very important thing? Because remember, in this business, people make a personal decision to buy products. And they will be motivated to buy products if they feel that, one, the person in their group or their leader knows them. Number two, cares for them. And number three is actually takes time to be their friend. Friendship is very important in this business. I would recommend to you that work on developing the capacity to make friends. I mean, that book, in fact, two books which are written in 1937 that are very good for our business is How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie, written in 1937, and How I Raised from Failure to Success Through Selling by Frank Bettler, also written in 1937. Those are classic books. And in fact, those two people were collaborators in the training that they used to have. So let's talk about friendship. Truth is, in what we say, is called sincerity. When you say things according to what they are. See, the thing about truth is, you can't bend the truth. You can't, 200 lies cannot make a truth. Truth is always the same. It is there. Okay? So truth in what we say is called sincerity. Truth in what we think is called a clear conscience. When you have a clear conscience, you go to sleep very well. You don't worry about many things. You don't panic about things, what you say, what you do. If you have a very clear conscience, the truth in what you think is called a clear conscience. Truth in what you do is called loyalty. And loyalty is a very, very important aspect of our business. Loyalty to your team, loyalty to your family, loyalty to the company, loyalty to the products. You need, and that is always determined by what you do. What you do is very important. In fact, I read a book some time ago called What You Do Is Who You Are. What you say doesn't really matter a lot, but what you do, because it is a reflection of your inner attitude. So truth in what you do is called loyalty. Now, a few things about our business. Action is the antidote to despair. You see, sometimes you can be talking to people a lot and you find no result. You start feeling bad when you stop actually talking to people, but you need to continue talking to people because somebody has been praying for you to tell them about our business. Action is very important. It's the key to our success. There are many other things, but a very important one is action. Action is the antidote to despair. At the same time, action is a prescription for success. The same thing, action. Loyalty to your goals. It's very important that you write your goals so that you actually pursue those goals. Remember, when you're in this business, the goals you have is not your sponsor's goals. It's not your team's goals. It's not the company's goals. Your goals are your goals. That's why you need to write them down. You personalize those goals, the things you want to achieve. So you need to be loyal to your goals. Number two, you need to be loyal to your family. Why is that important? Because when something happens to you, guess who is going to be around you? It's your family. They're the people who mold who you are. Then loyalty to your team. This is very important. I think it's very important because you as a leader, you need to defend and protect your team by your thoughts, by your actions, and the words that you use when you speak to your team. A very important saying we have in our business: if you're feeling down, speak up. If you're feeling up, speak down. It means if you're having challenges in your business, if you need to complain, pick up the phone and speak to your sponsor. Don't speak to a team about complaints. Okay? If you're feeling excited, speak to your team, speak to your downlines. And in fact, sometimes when you're feeling down, and not complain, I'm saying you're feeling down, pick up the phone and encourage somebody in your team. You will see that you also feel encouraged. And then loyalty to Neolife. Why is this important? Because when people notice that you're loyal to Neolife, they also follow suit. I remember many people have approached me to join other different businesses. My answer is always the same, always. The Lord led us to new life. I will stay in new life until the end of my days. And I believe that because I don't know any other company with the type of products that we have. I don't know any other company with a leader whose vision started in 1958 and he has stayed with the same vision and principles of building a business. So loyalty to new life is very important. Let's talk about friendship. There's a book I would recommend for you to look for and read called The Four Loves. It's an excellent book. It deals with this aspect of friendship very well. It's a very simple book, not very big, about 100 pages, but it talks about friendship in different aspects, and it's very well written. If you want to develop true friendship with people, there are three things which are essential for friendship to develop, bloom, and actually become stable. Number one, you need to have common concern. That means you need to be concerned about the same things. When you're in this business, you need to be concerned about your team, about the product, about the company, about everything else. Have mutual concern. Common concern, the things that bind you together. Number two, have mutual interest. It means sometimes you actually need friends outside the business. Why is it important? Because if you have friends outside the business, one day they will ask you that, you seem a very positive guy. What is your secret? Tell them, look, because I'm in New Life. New Life always provides a very positive environment. Okay? Mutual interest. Could be watching soccer. It could be music. Whatever it is, have a mutual interest outside our business. Number three is virtue. That is, integrity of the soul. Why is this important? It is a glue that actually keeps friendship together. If you have common concern, if you have mutual interest, but you don't have integrity, that friendship will break up very quickly. Why? Because your word should be your bond. Virtue is simply means having good habits. You need to have virtues that help you to be a better person. The virtue of fortitude, that means the internal strength to overcome difficulties. The virtue of justice, it means being able to give to people what is due to them. If it is respect, if it's a good name, if it's a phone call, justice is important. Temperance means to regulate your desires, to regulate so that you have control over yourself, regulate your emotions, regulate your desire for food, regulate your desire for sex, regulate your desire to have things immediately, have the desire to postpone the things that are pleasurable. Okay? And then the last one is, we mentioned fortitude, you mentioned temperance, we mentioned justice, and then prudence. Prudence is practical wisdom. You need to know when to speak and when not to speak. You need to know how to discern falsehood and things which are true. Prudence, in fact, think about these four virtues. They're called the four human virtues. If you think about a hen and the chicks, the hen that directs where the chicks go is called prudence. It's the one that directs our living. It guides fortitude, it guides temperance, it guides justice. So develop virtue. When you develop virtue, people will start actually trust you so that you can actually lead them. It's very important for us, if you're going to be a leader in your group, develop virtue in your life. If you do that, you will find that your business will grow. People will come to you when they have challenges because they know that you listen, because they know that you also go through challenges, but you don't speak about it. I would recommend, if you're a leader, don't speak about your challenges to your team. Speak about your challenges to your upline leader who is growing. That's very important to keep our business going. So, ladies and gentlemen, those are the few things I wanted to share with you. And I hope some of the things we've talked about are going to help you grow your business to the next level. So, this is probably the last week of building the business before month end. Month end is middle of next week. Then we go towards Easter. You still have a lot of time to achieve the goals that you set for the month of March. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank all of you very much for spending your time to spend with me and Betty. And we hope some of the things we've shared with you will help you grow your business to the next level. Thank you and good night.